My presentation is more about the user experience, how I can also give you some of the opportunity for you to think about using virtual reality, augmented reality technology to work with some different types of industry sector, because I assume that many of you are familiar with this augmented reality and virtual reality technology. So there are kind of plenty of opportunity. You can work with the different types of industries. It doesn't need to be always with the housing or the built environment industry. There is also option to work with the tourism and the hotels and other accommodation, even like a cultural heritage site. So there are a lot of different attraction sectors are interested in working with your technology, the oriented researchers like that. So today I will just give you those kind of more brief idea about some research, the directions and the industry, the engagement opportunities. So the presentation will be very much introductory, and it will not be that much the technology heavy information will be there. So a bit relaxed, and let's have a little bit of fun rather than it's like, well, I have to digest all of the information here. My name is Ice Kim. I'm from Korea, but then I've been teaching tourism courses for over 11 years in the School of Management at the moment. And so very much I'm very into the tourism, and I'm sure that many of you have been traveling around, so you will pick up some of those different types of the experience there. But of course, technology is the one who make some differences to make the visitor experience the more convenient, accessible, friendly. I think Dr. Lee mentioned about the safer, convenient, like that. So for us, we go beyond that, because of course the safety and the convenience is very important. But for the tourism perspective, we needed to have also stimulate more the sensory entertainment, as well as the more interactive hands-on experiences required. So there are a lot of technological devices have been developed to satisfy the visitors' the requirements like that. So that's what I'm going to really talk about today. So basically, one of the key issues I really want to address here as introductory. Think about some of your experience you have done since when you are young. I'm sure when you are young, you used to go to the theme parks, right? And then later on you go to the zoo, aquariums, and you will see even zoo and aquarium become more interactive and try to close to the animals, and to make the aquarium zoo is make the more real the settings. So you feel more close to the real animal interaction and things like that. And then now it's recently the Darwin. In Darwin, their tourism industry opened the shark or the crocodile cage diving. Any of you have tried or not? None of this. Oh, come on, you guys need to be more adventurous. So come on. So you haven't done it. And then recently now they do is more virtual reality oriented attractions are coming up. So I love animals, so I will try to give a little bit of introductory the picture, so you will see what I'm talking about. So initially, obviously, in the 60s, 70s, what the older people, older generation, I'm sure more familiar with this theme park, was excited to get the 3D ride and the biking ride, and it was great. So that's the more adventure, entertainment, thrill seeker oriented experience. Many of the built environment was targeted. But then later on, aquarium, they try to instead about thrill seeker, it's more about how we can find the nature as close as possible. So the built environment technology has been developed more into how we can make the more visible, and also we can have the more closer connection with that. So that's aquarium, even the building structure, you can see you feel like you are walking through under the sea. Right? So that kind of the built environment, the structure has changed. Another one is another new built environment is under the sea, you have to go into the cage. So it's not like the animal looking at you, or you looking at animal trying to find the way to the food. Yes, through you. So what they do is they're in the cage, they again see through glass, and then they dangle with the meat. So then crocodile come and get you, to try to eat you. So of course the people love that kind of thing. So it's now combined the thrill seeker plus and the close to the animals. So you have to try. There is many new activities available in the Port Lincoln at the moment. Shark cage diving as well. It's a bit serious. You have to pay around $500, but sometimes it's successful to see the shark to come and get you, or sometimes it's not successful. So you just waste your money for that. So this is a kind of another way of also trying to attract. This is a 7D show in Dubai shopping mall. Dubai has launched the virtual reality zoo. And what happened here is in the middle of a shopping mall, people walk around, and then they're using this 7D, the dimensional technology, and then there's suddenly dolphin and the whale is popping out on the floors. So you look like, you don't need to go and have a long journey and take the boat and find the whales. I used to do the whales, I want to see the whale. So I have tried so many different countries to see the whale, the vomiting on the boat. Oh my God, it was an awful experience. And finally, I was able to see the whale in the end in New Zealand, which was great. But now it's what you do is you don't need to have that kind of inconvenient travel experience. You can actually see this the dolphin popping out in the middle of shopping malls like that. So Dubai, in some ways, they are one of the leading countries, which is creating a lot of this fantasy with the urban destination, which try to give them more different experience to visitors like that. And they rely on a lot with this technology like that. So for them, what happens is that they don't really need to change any of the beauty environment. What they have done is they just slightly modified with the technology like that. So this is the modified technology device can change way people experience of the place, as well as they can use this multifunctional the business opportunity as well. It's not about the people who come there for the shopping. They can actually attract the new tourist market as well. So they are creating new demand with the altering the technological devices like that. So what happened here is I will show you a video later on, and one of the things here is the virtual reality park they launched in the Dubai shopping mall without really much of the change, the construction or anything. It's just to make sure they can have this kind of the virtual gaming, opportunity like that. I'm sure many of you will be familiar with this, Star Trek, the game, and you heard about some story that so many Korean people, young Korean people, they stuck into the computer, the internet room, and then they was doing this computer game, and then whole night, and then sometimes they die because they are so addicted to that. So that kind of thing is now get out of this dark, the PC, the internet cafe, and they come out in the shopping mall, and then you can, in the bigger space, you can have this kind of the virtual reality gaming and that entertainment activities like that. And it become one of the major tourism attractions like that. This is one of the new trend. It just opened 2018. Yeah, so this is a kind of very new trend for that. So what happened here is that, as you can see, we talked about smart city, smart housing, smart environment, smart construction, all this kind of the technology-oriented infrastructure actually provide the foundation for the tourism industry, worked with you guys together to create the new market, new business opportunities, because the technology already there, been used for the housing and the hotel and other construction the areas. What we need to do, we need to collect them and then just try to the packaging in different way to work with the tourism industry together. So what happened here is everybody using the mobile phone. So based on this mobile phone, we try to create the better service, convenience, accessible, friendly, and also the easier the approach to the visitors, to whoever who come from different countries. And another one is some of the people who really need more information about the attractions and the places. So they use e-interpreter, means that they're using mobile phone or other devices, so they can the people can experience about what's going on in this area, and then you get more information about it. 360-degree the video, so you look like the UI there rather than you looking at the only one-dimensional approach. So people feel like you are in the middle of that places. So this device helps out for creating this sense of places, because everybody has a mobile phone, and I heard this mobile phone has that option you can download the 360-degree apps like that. And another one is the hologram, I think HoloLens. That is a kind of quite a common device everybody familiar now. It's already is there and as part of our everyday life. And we can use that device to link with the tourism industry, attraction sector, and then the visitor can the experience with that. Because the people are already familiar with these smart technology devices. So which means that, of course, some of the devices require more education about how to use it, but many of the other devices are already there and in our everyday life. So it's how we can apply this device to the tourism industry and the visitor experience. Then that is the way of what the tourism industry are working on at the moment. Lastly, is the more virtual reality attractions have been well developed as one of the big investment. So it's not like now technology is used as the supporting services or supporting device to enhance the visitor experience. Actually, virtual reality has become attraction. So people come and see that attractions. It's not about the supporting service anymore. So you can see how much this technology has evolved or changed and applied to the tourism industry sector as well. So one of my subject I've been teaching is destination management, and destination management is very important because we have to deal with not just only about people, we have to deal with the industry, government, technology, infrastructure, and the tourist market. And the technology has become one of the major emerging topic in the tourism industry at the moment. And the issue is that because we believe that this technology-oriented services attraction can help out to improve the better destination competitiveness, as well as the sustainability, and because the technology can help out for the more opportunity for innovation and the entrepreneurship for the researcher who is good at these technology devices can have chance to work with the business sector, and they can actually open their own business like that, which is created a new market as well as that helps for all the destinations working together for the further economic developments. So that's what I'm trying to explain as a part of how technology become one of the hot topic in tourism industry. So it's not that this technology suddenly come out. I think it's already there because the existing infrastructure there, existing technology devices there in destination. What they need to do, they need to make sure the smart city can be used as one of foundation, and then tourism industry and the government can work together, because smart cities, the concept itself is already accessible and the convenience, connected, more relevant. So it's that efficiency level of the technology can help for the tourism industry can work with the other city developer as well as the technicians and things like that. So what I'm saying is that the smart city can actually help out for the blurring out all the boundary we have between the physical, the environment, and the digital environment, and using those connection between the physical environment and digital environment can help for creating the new business opportunity, which we call the smart tourism. So what we're saying is that often we looking at the smart tourism from the basic level of the smart city, the concept which is we talked about the convenience, information, connections, and obviously it's more about the flexibility, efficiency. But the tourism industry, we needed to go beyond that, as I mentioned earlier, because for us, we have to make sure we need to be more personalized and create more interactive options, and have to make sure they're friendly enough. And also, it have to be sensory, the opportunity, so then the visitors can find the entertainment and the thrills, and also the new experience as well. Because in the everyday lives, the technology can be used only for the more safety or sustainability perspective, but in tourism, we need to also think more beyond those kind of the basic level of the functionality. We have to go for the next level for that. So what happened here is then to do that, that we have to really looking at what markets want, what service we need to provide, how we can integrate with the technology and the market's demand together. That question needs to be answered to before we developing technology or adapting this technology to the tourism industries. So if you are a researcher, of course, it's not about developing the different types of technology. You have to also thinking about the cost, adaptability, application of technology to the tourism specific, unique the market's demand as well. So I want to just explain a little bit the big differences between the e-tourism versus the smart tourism as a background, because the reason I want to explain to you is that the smart tourism also, again, is different from the traditional or the old style of the e-tourism at the moment. One of the new things that what smart tourism provides to the industry as well as the other technology, the industry as well. In the 20 years ago, in the maybe late 90s or the early 2000s, e-tourism was one of the hot topics. I remember when I was doing my PhD, it was like, oh, which topic should I go for, e-tourism or sustainable tourism? There was one of the big topics like that, like a two pillar of the research topics. And one of the e-tourism is that they come out is because of they want to improve the booking system and intermediary systems. So it's more about the helping out in terms of how we can minimize all of those inconvenient complexity of the value chain, the process, so the people can have the booking of your airplane ticket, hotels, and cars much easier and quicker. As you know, the e-tourism now has evolved a little bit. So whenever you do the booking for the ticket, what you can do is you can book the rental car, airline ticket, hotel, and the tour operators, the booking all at the same time, because they using the interactive or integrated the booking systems like at the moment, which is give them much easier opportunities for visitors that can book or make a decision more convenient way. But in the previous time, do you remember? I hope you guys remember. You used to book the hotel separately. You used to book separately all the airplane ticket. You have to do booking again separately all this car rental service as well. But now you go one website, Expedia, and you do all at the same time. So that's one of the e-tourism the industry helps out for those kind of the website-oriented, the booking system-oriented, the technology improvement, and that helps a lot for the visitor or user to make it more convenient and friendly like that. But that's e-tourism, that's 20 years ago. And now it's the smart tourism, we go beyond that, because the smart tourism try to influence the people's, not just only the website lets the information or booking system, they try to go for the even on-site, the business experience for that. So it's not about what you do or where to go, it's about how you experience, how you can also create the new business opportunity as well. So smart tourism go to the next level, which is looking at the more holistic, the integrated ecosystem, connect with all the destination infrastructure and also the human resource capital there as well, and also they connect with between the private, the public, and the consumers collaboration, because the virtual technology helps for the visitor to become a co-creator, not just the passive, the receiver of the technology. So, of course, the housing industry, they're kind of things more fixed one, which you pre-made and then give you the user to stay in that accommodation or the hotel like that. On the other hand, the virtual reality helps for the people to be another co-creator of their own experience, and they're also they're working with the industry, because they can there are so many different ways of the people can interact and co-creating their experience together. So I will explain a little bit more in the detail. So what happened here is that in the main application of the technology to tourism industry was the three main areas. So one is the smart tourism experience, so very much the user experience. So it's more about how human and technology interacting together. Second level is the smart business environment, which is more about how different types of the services at the computer generate the systems, and also how we can manage all this information, big data or technology devices, and how we use this technology for better the marketing, the outcomes, and also the managing staff members and things like that. So that's the second level of the research area or the development area. Last part is the more destination level, as I mentioned, which is very much the scope of the microscope of the level of the managing the tourism, because the destination is very important for the tourism sector. Because for us, we are not come here for have experience one thing. We come here to experience the multiple things. When we come to Adelaide, of course we come here for, let's say, to see kangaroo. But it's not the only things. Tourists want to see the kangaroo as well as the drink wine, and also looking around the cities. And depending on how much the infrastructure can support the visitors, they could either stay longer or they could go home earlier. So depending on these infrastructures, the complexity and integration could help for further the economic development, because the visitor can stay longer, they can do different types of experience, link with the locals, as well as using all the facility what the locals are doing, so that will help out for those both local and the tourism sector to working together to create the much bigger the concept of this the multiple experience for the visitors like that. So what I'm trying to explain today is that there are so many different ways we can see like how this technology being applied to the tourism sector, and I'm sure that some of those technology you guys are already doing it as part of your research. So there is a little bit of the option how you could also step into the working with some tourism industries, because as you can see for us. One of the things, the booking information system I mentioned, another one is the environment management system. I think the two presenters already mentioned about how is the accommodation and the housing can improve the energy efficiency, safety, and convenience, or the emergency system. So they talk about those kind of things, right? So obviously the environment management system can be easily applied to the tourism hospitality area as well. I'm sorry, weather was been changing so much, so my voice is not that great. And in the museums or visitor attraction sector, for us, we don't go that much up the level because they already have the constructions there. So what they do, they often adapting with the more like the mobile phone-based tour guide service. When you go to the museum, I'm sure the previous time you have the headset. Do you remember the guys, when you go to museum, you wear the headset? You're standing in front of number one, and then that the artifact object will tell you what it's about. So instead of putting too much information on the wall, what they do, they try to they use the headset, the device. So that's what they have done, and that kind of thing has been changed a lot in as part of the visitor experience, because instead of using the headset, they're using the glass, like glass, the one device. Another one is a hologram, the headset as well. And also some people, they use just mobile phone. So you put the mobile phone and then in front of those wall of the picture, and then they will tell you all the stories like that. So it's quite a lot of different way of system has been improved. And many mobile phones have this tracking system. I think the previous presenter also talked about this kind of thing. So you know where your car is located, where you are, where to go. So they do have those kind of the information is all uploaded onto the mobile phone, and that you can have this kind of tracking systems like that as well. And obviously the last one is the service management. So then if the people want to complain about what they are experiencing in that area, they can easily, they're supported very quickly using the mobile phone and the SMS. So then all of the complaint information can go directly to the tourism industry providers like that. And I will explain the augmented reality and the virtual reality as a part of the new attraction or service, the facilities like that. So as you can see, there are bright types of the options of technology has been applied to tourism industry. And some of them is very light, and some of them is a bit more complex than that, which require more the altering the building environment. Some of them is nothing to do with the altering building environment, but they can manage to work together to create the different experience for users. So I will just introduce one of the examples. One of the easiest thing is that information-oriented service on the early stage of the people who travel. I'm sure everybody knows Airbnb now, right? What the Airbnb now doing is that they're using the technology with the Airbnb trip, like the personality matchmaker. So when they have a software system, and then what they do is they give the information about you are artist. If you are artist, the personality, then they match with you with the artist home. So they show you all this virtual tour of the house. So you can see, okay, I can stay at their places because I'm artist and I'm gonna stay at the artist's home. If you are more like someone who is more adventurer, or musician, or business person, you prefer that kind of things, then they try to match with your personality and they provide the personality and then give those virtual tour of what you are expected to get when you go to their places. So that is one of the simple, easy way of providing information and the image for those visitors. Another one is the more information service with the mobile basis, not just rely on the website information, like you using your mobile phone, and then they tell you where to go, where is the best place to eat. So the popular place to eat, or where's toilet, basically. How can I say toilet in Korean? Means the 화장실, yeah? So you just get to the even translation service there. You can see the location of all the famous restaurants or the transportation information and all these tour operators. You can download the app and then you can wandering around to where to go or how to find when you are in one of tourist destination. In Seoul, we developed the mobile phone based the services, and tourists love this kind of convenience approaches because many places to go, there are wireless services available in Korea, and that is give the great opportunity for tourists to experience a different way. And who made this way? It's obviously technology. Without technology help, will not happen like that. So what happened here is the issue here is like from the technological perspective, what kind of information needed to be delivered to which target market, and how they can modify those information very quickly, how they're using that data different way, how we assessing the quality of data, quality of services. That kind of the function needed to be updated because they haven't done that much of the level of complexity at the moment. So clearly, tourism industry and the technology industry, they can work together, creating the more user-friendly and efficient approach later on as part of the updating the existing services. Another one is in Korea, it's medical tourism services. I'm sure Korea is quite famous for the cosmetic medical travel. So many people go there to Korea to fix our face. Yeah. So or boobs. Sorry. Shane, would you cut it out for me later on? I'm saying is that when you change your appearance, so in the end, when you go back home, no one recognizes your face, right? That's how it happens. So what happened in the medical tourism service when you go to Korea? I was quite surprised when I took my student to Korea. There was information center, And there is the facilities you can check your health condition and even your skin condition and what kind of service you are required to fix and which hospital you can go. So they recommend everything in that information center. It was amazing. So all this, the integrated data helps out to improve the medical tourism services like that. Another one is that is more about the, existing information to try to help out supporting the visitors. Another aspect of the technology development helps also the different aspect of user experience, which is like some of the areas very much focusing on the hand-on experience, and also interactive experience. I'm sure when you take your kids to museum, what happened? Most of those museum used to provide the computer-oriented device. So you click the button and so many times, and after 5 years later, the device is a bit broken. So one of the problems in the visitor attraction industry, they don't last long for more than 5 years because they have to keep updating the computer generated devices because many people click the button and use it and it never works out well. So they often rely on the interactive devices with the video generation or the image generation, text oriented. So they often rely on this augmented reality, the devices or computer, the graphic design. So that was a kind of common way of doing it. And it's been applied quite a different way in the museum, visitor center, and entertainment center. So what happened here is that, as I mentioned, this is the kind of the traditional style of how the visitors experience in museums. Another one is, I mentioned, is the art class. They're using the class, the headset, and then you can actually look at the different types of, the artifact or the places, and they can give you both the visual image together. At the same time, also they will tell you what it's about. So you don't need to click a lot of things. It's not like you constantly interact with those devices and damaging it. It's more about the very friendly way of using the headset, but still you can have a visual image and all text information together. So what happened is at the moment, the cultural heritage site, they started to adapting this device into their attraction sector. So what happened here is they try to also approach the millennials market, which young generation who are familiar with technology and who willing to do wearing those kind of headset and then adapting their experience in a better way as well. So I'm sure that many of you are familiar with the Holocaust, right? And when you go to the Holocaust area and the prison, you cry, although they just give you full of the historical factual information on the wall and display only the prisoner's uniform or prisoner guard uniform. It was the very, very emotional experience for me. And what happened there is now, this is the Holocaust Museum in America. They have this kind of different way of also interact with the visitors. So instead of relying on traditional communication method, which is books, brochures, or the big display exhibition, or the exhibition models, they're using this mobile phone, and then you put the mobile phone on the picture, and then they will tell you of the emotional stories. So that is helps for the many of young visitors who are not really who are not interested in reading all this factual information. They just look at the photos, but what they have are only photos. They're using their own mobile phone and they link with the photo. They explain everything about that related to the photos like that, which is create another interactive and personalized and the more relevant connection with the visitors like that. So as you can see, this is so much the changes in the user's experience when they are visiting this the attraction, the industry, compared to the computer-oriented devices versus the more interactive, the hand-on devices. So you see the new change is happening in the attraction sector, which means that for the technician or technology industry have to come up with the new way of with interacting or more personalized, relevant device. Their services is required for that. So that will be helpful in that sense. Another the example I would like to give you is the Pyeongchang Olympic, which is already mentioned a little bit. And this one is a kind of a new experience for me as well. I thought when I went there, basically they will show the different types of athletes, the personal, the stories, or gold medal, or silver medal, bronze medal, or maybe some of the little bit of display of each of the winter sports game, because many of the people are not really familiar with the winter sports games. So what I know is ski and snowboarding. That's one of the main things I knew. On the other hand, when I went there, is what happened is they try to educate their visitors as well as the local residents to understand different types of the Winter Olympic Games. So what they have done is they use this 4D virtual reality attraction. So they feel like the many people who are not familiar with those attractions or the information, they can actually help with the getting closer, and then you can learn these things in a more entertaining way, rather than trying to give you the all factual information and the technical information is with so much into that one area, people cannot digest that. So they are targeting for the user level who are very much the entry level and who needed to understand what it's about, but also at the same time, they need to learn more quickly about of their experience in the memorable, meaningful way. So this virtual reality technology helps the people can learn about or getting closer, and you feel like you are in taking the skis or the snowboarding like that, because that virtual reality headset give you an idea of feel like you are going down through the mountain with the ski like that. So that's one of the new recent development. Last development I would like to show you is that the whole visitor center was changed into the combination of the virtual reality, augmented reality, and the other types of technical services in Korea. So they have this all 600 degree of the video zone, as well as the virtual reality experience zone. So I'm sure that many of you knows about famous style, right? Gangnam Style. And one of the famous pop star popping out of the screen, and then you can take photo together like that. So which is give the very closer and fun experience. So someone who are not familiar with Korean culture, that is one of the different way of you can entertaining and also getting closer to the people like that. A few things that I know I have a time limit, but we can skip the question time. So I really want to show you this is interesting one. This is a tricky eye museum in Singapore and Seoul. You know, wax museum, right? It's a wax museum quite famous because the dead people look like real. That was the kind of one of the way we experienced of the attractions the previous time. There was more about the artifact skills required, but the tricky eye museum, they needed technology support because in some way you are kind of altering to the eye the illusion. So what happened is when you're standing there, look like the dragon popping out of there, but it's only 3-dimensional. It's not really 4-dimensional or 7-dimensional. So still, the cost of those dimensions is very cheap. But some ways they're using this illusion to create this different experience for that. Of course, they needed technology perspective to come out with this graphic design. So you can see look like you are riding the dragons and things like that. So that's still become quite popular recently in Korea and Singapore, in many Asian countries like that. So you are hanging on to on the ceilings, but the sharks try to get you, and this kind of illusion. And what happened in Australia, they also open similar types of the attractions like that, using this virtual reality, augmented reality the technology. So basically, whole place is experiencing augmented reality and virtual realities. So it used to be many museum attractions sectors often rely on to their heritage, history, and their own existing attractions. But now you don't need to have a famous pyramid in your country. You can still create something new using technology and still provide the different experience to visitors like that. Technology can help to create new attraction, new entrepreneurship innovations like this. So a holographic experience in Gold Coast has become one of the parts of this, the main attractions. I will just skip through. And the last one is now I want to really explain to you is that then, so what? We got all this technology there. Seems like the visitor experience a lot, but is that all? It seems like it hasn't much evolved a little bit from e-tourism or the just technology-oriented tourism there. What the smart tourism provide differently? One of the new aspects of smart tourism is about co-creation between the consumers and the industry sector. What I'm saying is that when you do is, of course, in the previous time, many of the tourists just looking at what is about, just receive the information, so passive observer or information receiver. But now, smart tourism technology helps the people or user and visitor become a co-creator or the creator as well. So what happened here is like you wearing those the headset device, working with the chef, and then you do the food demonstration, cooking demonstration, and you can feel the way you are at there. So you can have this sensory experience, but at the same time you can actually using this Google Hardboard as well as the Coca-Cola package as well, and then you put the mobile phone there, and then you create you can look at the advertisement there, and also you take the photo, whatever you have experienced, and then put onto the website, and then you do have this kind of sharing your travel experience together. So what happened is Coca-Cola, the company, they asked the people to create their own personalized Coca-Cola advertisement, and then they have a competition going on. So then people can win. So it's become very much the personalized experience. Even tourism in the destination, they do the same thing that way. So they try to give opportunity for tourists to share the experience and alter the way of the experience, and also influencing the other people's decision-making process like that. So far, I've been explaining about the smart tourism is, yes, very convenient, accessible, exciting, more personalized, flexible, adding the new value. But one of the great things that I'm trying to explain is that smart tourism can go beyond, which is more about the creativity there and more personalized experience, engaging, and also the innovative approach they could have. So this means that there are a lot of the research options you could think about, but one of the issues you have to think about is the privacy, which many people have to overlook at that. Because think about whatever you experience it through the mobile phone you have, it can be used in the wrong way as well, because your personal data and also identify where you are. People can get to all this big data easily from all the tourist mobile phone information, which is one of the key issues have to think about, which means the technology industry can adjust or assist the tourism industry to develop maybe the private virus the app or privacy proof the app. They could come out with those kind of new approach there as well. Another thing is many of the technology very short-lived and they're changing so quickly, which means that have to come out with a technology which can sustain much longer. So then they don't need to constantly updating and investing money, and otherwise they will have the problem with the cost and benefit the situations there. And obviously another one is how you can also make the balance of the education and training level, because if it's keep technology developed with the high technology, some people who are resist against the technology. As you know, the counter movement, if there is a fast food, there is always slow food. If it's a globalization, there's always localization. Same thing, technology savvy, technology haters. so as you know, then how are you going to handle those people and what we can handle about that? So there is how we can also approach the older people who are not familiar with technology. So which means that you have to come out with the new idea of supporting those different markets, the needs as well. So overall, there's many research direction and industry engagement can be found. And so think about it. Obviously, for us, we are mostly into the visitor experience management. So as I mentioned, it's more about how we're going to handle this dilemma between the human and technology interaction in terms of privacy and the difficulty, accessibility, and that kind of situation. Another one is for infrastructure and facilitation perspective is that how the technology can improve the more artificial intelligence and the social environmental costs based on the user's need and preference, and also the existing environment, how they can adapt to that, and managing the information could be one of the way of the technology industry can help out to for providing the better quality of the sustainable smart tourism, the experience like that. So that's the overall, because I know there are many things I need to talk about, but because of time, I think I will leave it as it is. But at least hopefully you got some ideas how the technology can shape and improve many of the smart tourism industry sectors as well. Okay, thank you.